All right, guys. So we discussed the other day, Trump gave a disturbing fascist speech in front of a bunch of active duty military. And man, was that a dark, dark moment in American history, because you had these active duty military officials booing the city of LA, booing the California governor, booing the LA mayor, booing the fake news media, cheering for the destruction of the First Amendment because Trump said he wants to lock up flag burners with a year in prison, which is wildly unconstitutional. It really proved to me that if Trump were, it doesn't matter how illegal a Trump order is, a lot of these fucking assholes would do it. And every single person who is cheering Trump in his fascist speech needs to be dishonorably discharged from the military immediately. Immediately. So, but having said that, there are some folks in the military who, both active duty and veterans, who are going, holy fucking shit, this is not what this country is, bro. This cannot be what this country is. So look at this in the Financial Times. Military veterans object to Donald Trump deploying soldiers to Los Angeles. U.S. president says move is necessary to quell unrest by insurrectionists. That's rich. From the most pro-insurrection man on planet Earth, because he literally tried to do one, and then he pardoned a bunch of insurrectionists. A growing number of military veterans and serving officers have spoken out against President Donald Trump's decision to deploy Marines and National Guard troops to Los Angeles, calling it a misuse of executive power that puts soldiers' lives at risk. The move to send 700 Marines to protest as part of the Trump administration's crackdown on undocumented migrants marked a major shift in civilian military norms and a dangerous precedent, said James Goldbeck, a Marine Corps veteran. When I joined the Marine Corps, I took an oath to the Constitution, not to a person, not to a party, said Goldbeck. I believe that the military exists to defend our republic and not to serve the political ambitions of one person. The U.S. Armed Forces have been at the center of an escalating political row since Saturday night when Trump ordered the Pentagon to send at least 2,000 National Guard troops to Los Angeles in response to demonstrations against raids on suspected illegal immigrants. By the way, let's stop being ridiculous here. A lot of these people are totally innocent. Zero criminal record. Let's stop doing the both sides bullshit, please. On Monday, California sued the president over the move, accusing him of creating fear and terror. This is a manufactured crisis to allow him to take over a state militia, damaging the very foundation of our republic, said Governor Gavin Newsom. Members of the National Guard have also expressed misgivings about the deployment. Watching this unfold makes everyone very uncomfortable. Dylan Blaha, that's a very bizarre name, who has served with the Illinois National Guard for 9 years and is now seeking a seat in U.S. Congress as a Democrat, told the Financial Times. Service members raised their right hands to uphold the Constitution and protect the people of the United States, he said. And as an officer, I was always taught that you do not obey an unlawful order. Retired Major General Paul Eaton, who led the operation to train Iraqi troops during the U.S. invasion of Iraq, told the Financial Times that Trump's order was a display of presidential hubris and a misuse of executive power. The last thing the U.S. military wants is the image of a young man or woman with a rifle imposing the will of executive power on the people of the United States, said Eaton, who works alongside Goldbeck at Vet Voice Foundation, a nonprofit that seeks to empower military veterans to become civil leaders. And so this goes on here. I also have some more examples of this. So here is from Breakthrough News. After Trump deployed Marines to LA, this military member joined an anti-ICE protest in Dallas, declaring, "We won't be pawns in stripping away constitutional rights."
We are not pawns for Donald Trump's agenda. Why now? It's because the military was called upon innocent protesters. We, in our oath to serve, we serve the people of the United States. The Constitution, these constitutional rights are being stripped and just denied, and the military will not be pawns to that. So I'm calling upon the conscience of military members who served previously and now. We have a conscience, we have mind, and we have a duty and moral obligation to say no.
God bless this person. Look, the rebuttal from all of these good people is the same. What's the rebuttal? I took an oath to the Constitution. I'm not going to obey an unlawful order, right? We need all of them saying this. All of them need to say this, because this is the truth. This is where we're at, y'all. This is where we're at. This is a defining moment in American history. Are you going to go along with the fascist and just follow orders, or are you going to stand up? All right, I got another one for you. This one is a Vietnam veteran who had some thoughts on this. Here we go.
Good afternoon. My name's Danny. I'm a veteran of the 101st Airborne Division, serving in Vietnam 1969-1970 in the U.S. Army. You know, when I was in the 101st, we had a motto called Rendezvous with Destiny. I think events of the recent days indicate that we as Americans are going to have a rendezvous with destiny. Who are we as a country, and what values do we stand up for? You know, you don't send Marines, you don't send military detachments into the streets of America to confront citizens of this country. That's unconstitutional. Therefore, I'm asking that the President, the Secretary of Defense, call off what you're doing. It's wrong. You don't send the military into the streets. You know better. You know what's going to happen. Marines, military personnel are not trained in the use of due process.
Which, by the way, that's why he's doing it, right? They don't believe in due process. They don't believe in habeas corpus. They don't believe in having hearings. They don't believe in people getting their day in court. They believe in raw power. It's what Cersei said in Game of Thrones. Power is power. And so he's flexing his power. And what we need in this moment is good people who are in the military to find their conscience and find their backbone and go, no, we're not doing it.
So I'm going to tell you that what you did today, President Trump and Secretary Hegseth, is sending a signal to America that you don't care about the citizens of this country.
Correct.
Your political motives are going to drive us into a place we don't want to be. So I'm going to say to you that are watching this video, what are your values? What's your rendezvous with destiny? What do you consider that you want to see out of what's happening right now? Who's driving the division? Who's causing this? We must stop it. We depend on our congressional leaders. We just depend on our judicial leaders. We depend on the executive branch to do the right thing. We've had a history of, maybe not so perfect background in America, but you know what? This is wrong.
So if you don't want to take it from me, how dangerous this moment is, take it from them. Take it from them. And remember, guys, we would not be in this place at all if they weren't doing wildly illegal, wildly unconstitutional ICE raids where Trump's Gestapo is going to 7-Elevens and Home Depots and meatpacking plants and hair salons and rounding up innocent people with no criminal record and fucking disappearing them. We wouldn't be here. That led to the backlash. And then Trump used the backlash, the protests, as an excuse. Oh, now I'm just going to militarily take over. I'm going to have America invade America. That's what I'm going to do. Iron grip on power. The same time he's about to have his fascist military parade in D.C. with tanks rolling down the street. Oh, man. It is not good, y'all. It is not good. I am begging and pleading to people who are in the military or in various National Guards, don't obey unlawful orders. In fact, I'm calling on all Democratic governors to have a direct line of communication with your National Guard immediately and make plans for when Trump tries to illegally federalize everybody's National Guard, because he's in the process of doing that. Look, this is how civil wars start, right? Like, this is literally how civil wars start. We're talking about a situation where Trump said to Gavin Newsom, I'm going to cut off all your federal money. You're not going to get any federal money anymore. And Gavin Newsom responded and said, okay, well, we net pay $80 billion to the federal government, and now you're going to keep the money that we're due, that we're owed? Well, then I'm going to say no Californians need to pay federal taxes anymore. How about that? So if you're cutting us out of federal tax money, then we will no longer pay into federal tax money. Duh, right? And then it was just a couple days after that, boom, Trump said, I'm going to overtake the California National Guard, and I'm going to send the Marines in. This is how fucking civil wars start, y'all. And now, me and Crystal were just talking about this the other day. Nothing is off the table anymore. That's what's so hard to wrap your mind around. It's like, nothing is off the table anymore. There is nothing these people won't do. At this point, we'll be lucky if we get out of this without some people being killed. Americans being killed by U.S. military in our streets, illegally. He wants the chaos, and he wants to go full fascist and full dictator, and he's in the process of doing it right now. And all I'll say is this. It would send a colossal message if you could get 20, 30, 100 people in the military to stand up and say, I'm not doing what you're telling me to do because it's illegal. That would become a giant story. That would let people know the facade of total control and power is just that. It's a facade. If people just disobey, he can't do the shit he wants to do. So let's start doing that. Hey, y'all, do me a favor and like and subscribe. It helps out big time in the algorithm. Click the bell as well for notifications when videos drop, and watch that video on screen right now. You know you want to.